Hey everyone. So if you've ever heard anything about Bitcoin, you've probably heard this one complaint over and over again. It's just too slow. But what if I told you that's not a bug? What if it's actually its most important feature? Seriously, what if that sluggishness is what gives Bitcoin its superpower? What if being slow is the very thing that makes it so ridiculously secure and unstoppable? Well, today we're going to dive in and unpack why this so-called limitation is not only on purpose, but it's absolutely critical to what Bitcoin is trying to do. All right, so to really get this, we've got to start at the very foundation. We need to look at the core rules of Bitcoin's main network, what we call Layer 1. This is the bedrock that everything else is built on. Just take a look at these numbers. For the entire planet, Bitcoin processes about 7 transactions per second. That's it. A new block, which is like a new page in the ledger, only gets added every 10 minutes. And here's the kicker. Every single computer helping to run the network, we call them nodes, has to check and validate everything. These aren't glitches, folks. These are the rules of the game, and they are incredibly strict for a reason. So why on earth would you design a system with such tight restrictions? Well, it all comes down to a fundamental problem that every single blockchain faces. It's a concept known as the Blockchain Trilemma, and trust me, it's a really tough balancing act. Okay, so picture this. You've got 3 things you desperately want for your network. You want it to be super secure, totally decentralized, so no one person or group is in charge. And you want it to be scalable, meaning it can handle a ton of transactions really fast. Well, here's the catch. The trilemma basically says you can pick 2 of those, but you can't have all 3, at least not perfectly, on the same layer. It's a constant tug-of-war. If you pull on one, the others get weaker. And this right here is the perfect example of that trade-off. You hear it all the time, right? Why not just make the blocks bigger to fit more transactions and speed things up? Well, if you did that, the amount of data everyone needs to process would just explode. Pretty soon, only huge companies with massive data centers could afford to run a node. Your average person with a laptop, they'd be priced out. And just like that, decentralization would die. Control would end up in the hands of a tiny, powerful group. And that brings us to the absolute core of this whole thing. Bitcoin intentionally gives up speed on its main layer. It makes a conscious choice to prioritize decentralization and security above all else. It's all about making sure the network stays unstoppable and open for anyone to participate in. But that leaves a huge question. If the main road is designed to be slow, how are you ever going to use it to, buy a coffee? So how does Bitcoin get around this? Well, the genius answer isn't to change the slow, secure foundation. It's to build a super fast expressway on top of it. And that's exactly where this second layer comes in, a system called the Lightning Network. The magic building block of Lightning is something called a payment channel. Let's say you and your favorite coffee shop are going to be doing a lot of business. Instead of putting every single coffee purchase on the main blockchain, you do this. First, you create a channel between you two. That takes just one transaction on the main Bitcoin network. Then, inside that channel, you can buy 1,000 coffees. Each payment is instant, private, and happens off the main chain. And finally, whenever you want, you close the channel with one last transaction that just updates the final balances on the main network. And this is the aha moment. This is the whole magic trick. The slow, secure main Bitcoin network only ever sees 2 things, the transaction to open the channel and the one to close it. It has absolutely no idea that you made 10,000 or even 1,000,000 little payments in between. This takes a massive, massive amount of traffic off the main road. But hold on, you're not going to open a direct channel with every single person on Earth, right? That would be crazy. That's where the network part comes in. All these little channels connect to each other, forming a huge web. The real question is, how does your payment magically find its way across this web to get to its destination, without you having to trust any of the people in the middle? The secret sauce is this really clever bit of code called a hashed time lock contract, or HTLC for short. This is the engine that makes the whole Lightning Network go. It's a type of smart contract that makes sure every payment is atomic, and that's just a fancy way of saying it's all or nothing. Your payment either makes it all the way to the end perfectly, or it fails completely and the money is instantly back in your wallet. It can never ever get stuck somewhere in the middle. And it works using 2 really simple but powerful tools. First, you've got the hash lock. Think of it like a locked box that can only be opened with a secret password. The money gets passed along the network inside this box, but no one can actually take it until the final person provides a password. Then, there's the time lock. This is the safety net. If, for whatever reason, that password isn't provided within a set amount of time, Poof, the box automatically opens and all the money bounces right back to you, the sender. It's a system that completely removes the need for trust. Okay, so this sounds almost too good to be true. It's fast, it's cheap, but what stops someone from cheating? I mean, what if you have a channel with someone, you pay them, and then they try to broadcast an old version of your channel's balance from before you paid them just to steal that money back? And this is where this system gets really, really brutal. If someone even tries to pull a fast one like that, the other person's software will instantly catch it. And the penalty isn't just a slap on the wrist. The honest party is immediately allowed to take every single Satoshi the cheater has on that channel. It's a catastrophic financial penalty. This makes honesty not just the best policy, but pretty much the only logical choice. So let's pull back for a second and look at the big picture here. What we've really got isn't one system, but this elegant two-layered architecture. And honestly, there's a perfect analogy that helps all of this just click into place. Think of Bitcoin's main layer, layer 1, as the supreme court of money. It's not fast, it's very deliberate, and you don't go there to argue about a parking ticket. You use it for the big, important stuff, the final, irreversible settlements that have to be recorded in stone forever. It's the ultimate source of truth. Then you've got layer 2, the Lightning Network. That is your everyday payment system. It's like cash or your debit card. It's for all the fast, cheap, daily transactions. The Supreme Court doesn't need to see you buying a coffee. It just needs to be there to enforce the rules if there's ever a serious dispute. So what do you get when you put these two layers together? Well, you unlock some stuff that's frankly a complete game changer. You get massive scalability that could, in theory, handle millions of transactions a second. You get instant payments to anyone, anywhere in the world for basically no cost. And you get something brand new, true microtransactions. I mean, the ability to send tiny fractions of a cent, which is just impossible with our current financial rails. So it turns out Bitcoin's slowness isn't a flaw at all. It's a feature. It's the strong, stable, and secure foundation that makes this whole new world of instant global payments even possible. It smartly separates the slow court of final settlement from the fast-paced world of daily commerce. And that really leaves us with one final huge question. What happens next? What does a truly global economy actually look like when money can move as freely and as instantly as information already does? That's the future this system could unlock.